Britain has witnessed royal scandals before, family feuds, public controversies, shocking departures from royal life, but nothing could have prepared the world for what happened in 2020. A senior member of the British royal family stood in front of a camera and said four words that shook the monarchy to its core. "We are stepping back." No one saw it coming. Not the Queen, not Charles, not William. And in that single moment, everything changed. Not just for Harry and Meghan, but for two children who hadn't even been born yet. Archie, Lilibet. Two names that are now at the center of a question so sensitive that the palace refuses to answer it publicly. A question that royal experts say could reshape the British monarchy for the next 100 years. But here is what nobody is telling you. The real battle over Archie and Lilibet's future isn't happening in the press. It isn't happening on social media. According to royal insiders, it's happening in private rooms, behind closed doors, in conversations that will never be reported. And by the end of this video, you will understand exactly what is at stake. Because what we found goes far deeper than titles, far deeper than succession. It goes to the very heart of what this family actually is. Stay with us. Let's start with something that almost no royal channel will say clearly. Archie Harrison is currently sixth in line to the British throne. His sister Lilibet is seventh. Those are not ceremonial positions. Those are legally protected positions guaranteed by the Succession to the Crown Act of 2013, an act of Parliament, which means removing Archie and Lilibet from the line of succession would require a vote in Parliament, a public debate, headlines around the world, and a level of attention that the palace desperately does not want. So here is the uncomfortable reality that everyone is dancing around. Two children who are sixth and seventh in line to one of the world's most famous thrones are growing up in California, attending local schools, playing with neighborhood friends, with zero preparation for what their legal position actually means. Royal biographer Robert Lacey, who has studied this family for over 40 years, has stated clearly that the British monarchy has never managed a situation like this before. Members of the succession line being raised entirely outside the institution's world. No trooping the color, no Commonwealth visits, no quiet lessons about duty, protocol, or what it actually means to carry the weight of the crown. And here is the question that keeps royal experts awake at night. What happens when those children grow up? What happens when Archie turns 18? When he is old enough to speak for himself? When journalists can ask him directly, "What do you want?" Because the answer to that question could either heal this family or tear it apart in a way that no one can come back from. But before we get there, there is something else you need to know first. Something about King Charles that almost no one is talking about. A private decision he reportedly made 6 months ago. A decision that changes everything about how we understand this story. King Charles III is facing something that no monarch in modern history has had to face. He is managing a cancer diagnosis, carrying the weight of a global institution, watching his relationship with his youngest son deteriorate in public, and quietly wondering if he will ever meet his grandchildren again. Think about that for a moment. Not as a royal story, as a human one. A grandfather reportedly desperate to see his grandchildren, separated from them by thousands of miles, years of pain, and a dispute so deep that even the people closest to this family cannot fully explain it. According to multiple sources cited in the Times of London, King Charles has privately expressed that he wants reconciliation. Not on the palace's terms, not on Harry and Meghan's terms, just reconciliation of any kind. But here is where the story becomes truly complicated. Because Charles is not just a grandfather, he is a king. And kings cannot simply pick up the phone and apologize. Every move Charles makes is watched by constitutional experts, by the press, by foreign governments. Every gesture toward the Sussexes is interpreted as either weakness or wisdom. Every silence is reported as either coldness or strategy. And according to royal insiders, Charles is currently trapped between two impossible choices. Choice 1, reach out to Harry and Meghan, risk looking like the institution is surrendering, risk William's fury, risk undermining everything the palace has spent 4 years trying to stabilize. Choice 2, stay silent. Watch the distance between him and his grandchildren grow wider every year. Risk Archie and Lilibet growing up knowing their grandfather chose the crown over them? There is no good answer, and the most powerful man in the British royal family knows it. But here is what makes this story even more complicated. Because it turns out Charles may not be the one who ultimately decides this. According to sources close to the royal family, that decision may already belong to someone else. Someone who hasn't said a single word about it publicly. Prince William is the most controlled public figure in modern Britain. He almost never speaks about Harry. He almost never reacts to Sussex headlines. He gives nothing away. And that silence, that extraordinary, disciplined silence, tells you everything. Because people who have no feelings about something do not work that hard to hide them. Sources close to the Prince of Wales, quoted in the Times earlier this year, describe William as deeply committed to one specific vision of the monarchy, a smaller institution, more focused, built around a tight core of working royals who are completely dedicated to public service. No distractions, no drama, no gray areas. And if you truly understand that vision, then you understand that Archie and Lilibet living in California doesn't just create a constitutional question for William. It creates an identity question. Because one day, not today, not this year, but one day, William will be king. And when that happens, he will have to answer a question that no British monarch has ever had to answer before. What do we do with royal family members who were born into this institution but have never once lived inside it? According to royal constitutional expert Dr. Anna Whitelock, there are only three realistic paths. Path 1. Archie and Lilibet are formally folded into the monarchy when they come of age. Titles confirmed, duties assigned, a place at the table. Path 2. A quiet private agreement is reached. Titles are retained, but expectations are removed. They live private lives and the palace asks nothing of them. Path 3, and this is the one nobody wants to say out loud, the relationship breaks down so completely that by the time Archie and Lilibet are old enough to make their own choices, there is no family left to return to. Which path is most likely? That depends on one thing. One conversation. That reportedly has not happened yet. But according to sources close to both sides of this family, it needs to happen very soon. Because what we found out about what Archie himself reportedly said to a family friend last year stopped royal watchers in their tracks. And it changes everything about how we see this story. Here is something worth remembering before we discuss what comes next. Archie Harrison is 6 years old. Lilibet Diana is 4. They did not choose this story. They did not choose to be born into a family that the entire world watches. They did not choose the rift between their father and his brother. They did not choose California, or privacy, or distance from the crown. Those choices were made for them, by adults who were trying to do the right thing, and who, depending on who you ask, either succeeded or failed completely. And yet here is what makes this story truly extraordinary. Despite everything, despite the distance, despite the lawyers and the headlines and the years of silence, people who know this family on both sides describe the same thing: love. A grandfather who talks about his grandchildren with visible emotion. A father who built an entirely new life specifically so his children would never experience what he experienced. A king who is trying to hold an institution together while privately longing for the family dinners that no longer happen. Royal historian Professor Kate Williams has written that the story of Harry, Meghan, Archie, and Lilibet is ultimately not a constitutional story. It is a family story. And family stories, even the most broken ones, do not have fixed endings. So what actually happens next? Honestly, nobody knows. Not the palace, not royal experts, not even reportedly Harry and William themselves. But here is what we do know. Archie and Lilibet are growing up. Every year that passes, they become more aware of who they are, more capable of asking their own questions. And one day, perhaps sooner than anyone expects, they will be old enough to decide for themselves what the word family actually means to them. Whether it includes a palace, whether it includes a grandfather they have barely met, whether it includes a country that has spent years debating their worth before they were even old enough to speak. That is the question that royal watchers are quietly watching. Not the titles, not the succession, not the constitutional rules, but two children, growing up, deciding who they are, and whether the family they were born into is worth returning to. Whatever happens next, this story is far from over. And when it does continue, we will be right here. If this video helped you understand what is really happening behind the headlines, please subscribe to Sussex Tea and hit the notification bell.